Now in this quick video, we're going to have a look at how we add an assignment. Now the first thing I would always do when adding assignments to a course, particularly if I'm not familiar with that course, is just have a little peek at the gradebook and the grade setup. And we can do that by coming to grades and then grade a report and coming to the gradebook setup. And you can see here that I have nicely organized a few different categories for some of the different assignments, quizzes, and the final project I have for this class. So we're going to be adding an assignment within the final project category. So with that in mind, we'll come back to the home page of our Moodle course, and we are going to first of all turn editing on. So I'm going to click on edit mode up at the top right, and from here you'll notice that you get this add an activity or resource option at the bottom of each of our topics here. So we'll scroll down to our final project topic. Now we have two elements to our final project. One is the journal that will be ongoing throughout the development of the final project, and then the other is the final project assignment itself. So we're going to click add an activity or resource, and here you can see I've starred the assignment activity. So under my activities, assignment is the first option, but it's always a good idea to star those activities that you're going to use often. In my starred options here, I'm going to click on assignment, and it's going to bring me to the assignment creation page. So in here, the first thing I'm going to enter is my assignment name. So we'll call this final project submission. And then in the description, we're going to link to an external document where students can read some more detail about the final assignment. So we'll type in final assignment instructions, and then we can highlight this, and we are going to click on the link button here. And from here, we can then go to browse our repositories. We're going to upload a file, and we're going to choose this final assignment instructions document, Word document, from our computer and upload that. This will allow you to format the instructions for your final assignment or your final project in Word or another application that you're familiar with. We're going to hit overwrite here to overwrite the previous version of that. And so now you can see we have a link that we can download. So we'll scroll down here and have a look at some of the assignment settings. We can add some additional files for our assignment if we need to. And then here we have the deadline dates for our assignment. So we're going to set this to the 18th of April 2024 that the submissions will open from. And then we'll have this close the 30th of April 2024, and we'll have the submission happen at 11:59, so just before midnight. And we can also add a cutoff date for this as well. So this means that you give students a little bit of extra time beyond the deadline in case they were late submitting or submitting right when the cutoff date was happening. So we'll set this to 2nd of May 2024, and again we'll do that at 11:59, and I'm going to uncheck remind me to grade. We can set time limits for these assignments as well. I'm going to leave that unchecked. That's useful if you're doing in-class assignments. If we scroll down, this is a really useful feature. So within the file submission options here, we can have students submit as an online Moodle, which means they can record audio or video and upload and submit that, which is useful for alternative style assignments. We have file submissions, and then we can also allow them to type in online text. We would like students to submit as a Word document for this particular project. So we have a maximum submission size here, and we're going to choose a Word document as our only accepted file type here. So I'm going to click choose, and we'll get this list of different document types. So if I look for document files, I can expand that, and I can check Word 2007 document or Word document, and only those two types of document will be allowed to be submitted. So I can hit save changes, and students will only be able to upload in that format. If we scroll down, you can see we've got some options for feedback type. So we can have feedback comments, annotated PDF comments, feedback files, so you can download and upload feedback files for the students. There's some other options for audio recording your feedback and that type of thing. We're going to leave the settings as the default here, and then we'll scroll down a bit more. We have some more submission settings requiring the student to click the submit button, and we're going to keep no for that. We can have a submission statement that students would complete. We're going to skip over the group submission settings for this assignment and notifications and jump to the Turnitin plagiarism plugin settings. And in here, we can enable Turnitin. So when students upload, it will run a similarity report and run Turnitin's check for artificial intelligence writing. And here you can see we can check against other stored student papers, against the internet, and against periodicals, publications, and journals. We're going to check yes for all of those. We're not going to set up our rubric within Turnitin. We're going to do that within the grade options within our Moodle setup. So under grade here, we can have a simple point grade with simple direct grading, or if you're looking to set up a rubric, you can check rubric here, and it will prompt you to create a rubric when we click through and create the assignment. Under grade category, if you don't have categories set up, then you'll have to leave it as uncategorized. We know that we can categorize this within our final project, and we can set up a grade to pass or leave that blank. We can also do things like hiding the grader identity from the students if you wish to do that, and adding marking workflows. I would definitely recommend reading up on what these will do before you put them into practice. We can skip over common module settings for most assignments. Restrict access is useful if you want to add a restriction that requires a student to complete an activity before they take the assignment. So you might want them to work through a classroom project before they're actually able to work on and complete their final assignment. So we'll leave that unchanged for the moment. The activity completion below is a way of measuring how much of the course students have completed. So this is really useful if you want students to get a sense of where they are in terms of tracking their progress through the course. If you're not doing that, then I would recommend turning this off. If you are doing that, then I would show the activity is complete when they've made a submission. So when they made a submission, it will show that they've kind of made a little bit of progress within the course. And then we're going to skip over tags and competencies. So if we go to save and display, you can see now we're prompted to make a rubric. So we can define a new rubric, or you can create a rubric from a template. So if we click this option, then we can search through any rubrics that are available, or we can scroll down and we'll just use this first template that is available to us. We'll continue. We can change this at a later date if we want to, unless we've already marked some student papers, in which case you can't change the rubric that you've used. So one thing you'll note here with the rubric is that even though we only have 9 points listed here, the final grade for this is 100. Moodle will do the math to translate this from 9 points to a mark out of 100. So now if we go back to the assignment on the tabs up at the top, we can see the assignment. If we come up to the top right here, we can switch our role. I'm going to switch my role to a student. And now you can see we've got the option here to add a submission. So the student would click add submission. They'd be told in here that they have to submit a Word document. So only those 2 file types are accepted. And they also have the link to the document here to click on and download it. If we come back to the home page of the class, you can see now in our grade section, we have now these 2 items within our final project. Both of them are worth 50%. So if we do want to change the weighting of those, perhaps the final project submission is worth more, we will come back to our normal role, and then we can come to our gradebook setup. And for our final project, we may want a split of 10 and 30 to add up to that final mark of 40. So the heavier weight is for the final project. That won't change the other weights that we have in the main categories. So the final project category is just changing the weight within that category. Another way that we can write this is if we do 0.25 and 0.75, so 3/4 and 1/4 of the final grade, and that will be the split of those 2 grades. So now we have a heavier weight for our final project submission and a slightly lighter weight for our journal that goes into the development of our final project. So that's how to set up an assignment in Moodle. If you do have any questions, then please get in touch.